very much. Lately, Australian rock bands have been at the forefront of the world music scene, and heading the charge, particularly America, is the Little River Band, who've racked up an impressive array of hit singles like It's a Long Way There, Lonesome Losers, Lady, Reminiscing. The band is about to embark on another tour of America. We thought it'd be a perfect opportunity to catch up with the Little River Band's lead singer and fast becoming one of this country's top television personalities as well. Glenn Shorrock, say hello. You got it. We decided to take a vote.
Good evening and welcome.
Good evening and welcome. Mike Walsh and myself and a few other people have decided that we want lead singers from bands to stay out of television.
You feeling sick at the moment? Going on holiday for a while? I'm in the other page.
You've been filling in very well though. You did you did Mike's show twice, right? Walsh?
Yeah, I did twice while he was on holidays. I did one before when he was on holidays earlier this year.
They gave you animal friends or something, did they?
Yeah, it was a lot easier. You know, animals are always a good saver of the show. And we had Willie the Cockatoo on, who became great friends with me, and I actually went to see them at the Taronga Park Zoo as well.
So you're performing Cockatoo, is he?
Yes, he is, definitely. He's a great act. He's 52 years old, this Cockatoo.
Really?
Yeah, and they evidently live till 100, some of them.
And a vocabulary and all that?
Yeah, a good one, yeah, colourful one, yeah.
Colourful?
Very colourful, yes. Yeah. I taught him a few things.
All the members of the Little River Band seem to be going off into different directions. I mean, you're still together. I don't want to start any rumors, but everybody is doing something else. I noticed a couple of you produced Johnny Farnham's album.
Graham Goebel produced Johnny's album and wrote most of the material on it. And David Briggs has just produced Australian Crawl and is at present in the studio with Russell Morris. So everybody's very busy, and that's why we don't play much in Australia anymore, because we're sort of doing solo things.
You do any writing or any of that?
Songwriting?
Yeah?
Yeah, I wrote Help Is On Its Way. And
well, I mean for anybody else. I mean, do you do it
No,
for
not
yet.
yet. No, I'd like someone to record a few things, but so far no one has picked one up. Cool Change was one of mine as well.
You've sort of been into the acting thing. I'm not going into the whys and wherefores of what you play and so forth. Do you enjoy that?
It's something that I'm the same as John Michael Howson. I've been an avid fan of Sellers ever since I was 9 years old. I grew up with the Goon Show, because I grew up in England before I came to Australia, and that was very big in those days. And even before rock and roll came along, I always wanted to be a movie star.
Like who? Tell me.
Well, Sellers would. I'd love to play roles like he does. I mean, I think that's wonderful. You can lose yourself in so many different characters and so many different guises and disguises.
You got into characters also with the Paul Hogan show here as well. You were able to do some of those.
Yeah.
You mentioned England, coming from there originally. Your dad, I understand, from Lancashire?
My dad's getting a bit too famous, yes.
Yes, he lives here now.
We grew up in Adelaide. I grew up in Adelaide. My family migrated to Australia in 1955, I think it was, 54, 55, around that time. Yeah. We were originally intended for Melbourne, but they put us off the boat in Adelaide because there was too many people scheduled for Melbourne. And we grew up there. And my father has been, he's always been a singer around the home and the bathroom and an entertainer at parties and everything, you know. I think he instilled a lot in me, and my mother was a great encouragement as well. Yeah. My mother almost got into show business when she was very young, as a tap dancer and things like that.
But your dad is singing now. They tell me he doesn't bill himself as Glenn Shorrock's father, though.
Oh, no, he disowns himself. No, not really. He's well, I forget how old he is now, about 63, around that period. He's retired. Yeah. He used to work at General Motors Holdens as a fitter and turner. But he's always sang, and now he's entertaining clubs that he belongs to, and pensioners and hospitals and things like that.
Yeah. What kind of stuff does he sing?
Well, he does things like Jerusalem and On the Road to Mandalay and old musical comedy things, and does a lot of monologues from the period of Stanley Holloway, because he's from Yorkshire, and Stanley Holloway is very famous on Yorkshire monologues, North England monologues, you know, like there's a famous seaside place called Blackpool that's noted for fresh air and fun. And Mr. and Mrs. Ramsbottom went there with young Albert, their son. A grand little lad with young Albert, all dressed in his suit quite as well, with a stick with an horse's head handle, the finest that Woolworths could sell. It just goes on like that. It's a long
yeah,
one.
nice stuff. Oh, that's good. That's
Dad.
really nice. Have you seen him work, Glenn?
No, I haven't. Yeah, he's only been to see me once, so I'm going to wait a few years before I go see him.
Your dad? Your dad?
In what, 20 years of singing in rock and roll, he's been to see me once, and that was at the Adelaide Symphony concert that we did in Adelaide.
Why has he stayed away?
Well, he's just not into rock and roll, you know. It's just not his bag.
Does
It's too loud for him, you know. Yeah, there's an interesting story after the Adelaide Symphony concerts that we recorded for an album. We did 3 shows, and he came to see the last one. And I came down in the morning, Sunday morning. You know, I'd been up till about 4 o'clock. I don't know. I was pretty bleary-eyed, and there he was at the breakfast table reading the Sunday papers. Morning, Dad. Morning. I said, how did you enjoy last night then? He said, oh, it was great, it was lovely. I really enjoyed seeing you up there, you know, terrific. He says, too loud. He says, you don't have to have it that loud, you know. So I said, well, you know, what else did you think about? Well, he said, it was great, you know, the symphony orchestra and everything, it was lovely. But there was one thing that was puzzling me, he said. You've got these great big packing cases either side at stage, you know, great big black things towering above. I said, what are those packing cases for? To put your drums in? I was talking about the PA system, you know.
The speakers, yeah, right, all stacked up. Oh,
He doesn't
that's
really
lovely.
rate it, but no, he's a lovely man.
Yeah.
Of course,
Hey,
he's my dad.
how long you been married now?
What's the time?
I wasn't sure myself. How long have you been married?
May the 4th, got married.
Yeah? Has it changed
job.
your life, then?
Not a lot, no, not really. We were living together for a long time.
There's nothing wrong with that either.
No, of course not, no.
right, yeah, that's fine. What is her name?
Joe.
Joe, yeah.
She's
She
in Sydney.
musically inclined, or?
Yes, yeah, of course. She's well into everything that's going on.
Yeah.
She started life in art school in Paran and went on to. She worked for Fred Skepsey for a while as a PA production assistant for him.
Film producer, for instance.
Yes,
yeah.
and then went into advertising and then met me
Yes.
and I took over, I guess.
Or precedence or something.
Yeah.
Do you think it's necessary that you found a woman that was at least in touch with the business or understood the business as opposed to somebody who wasn't at all?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, she's a great support to me. I'd obviously been working a long time before I met her, so she was used to what I was doing and used to the lifestyle. She'd been mixed up with films and advertising, which is a pretty crazy business anyway. So,
Yeah.
you know, the transition to rock and roll wasn't that too much of a traumatic experience. But we enjoyed a fairly quiet life.
You're going away on the road now.
Yeah,
the band is?
Yes, we're away on the 27th until the 5th of November.
Where do you go?
Back to America. We start in Dallas and just do some college gigs around the East Coast and Florida and around there. I haven't really seen the itinerary. They just put me on a plane and.
Does it ever boggle your mind or astound you that you go to a place like the United States from here and that they all know who you are and they all know what you're about?
Well, sometimes if you think about it, yeah, it's a lifelong dream come true. But nothing has really happened in my career that's been sudden change. It's always been quite gradual and it's been backwards and forwards as well. There's no leaping to stardom. So the wrench hasn't been,
Okay.
you know, it's been quite comfortable. I think we're all fairly comfortable with what we've got, and we want to hang on to it and push it even further.
And obviously you're trying to do things for the music world back here as well, I think, with everybody going out and diversifying.
Well, I mean,
like
Little
this.
River Band will continue for as long as we want it to continue for, and as long as the people keep buying the records and want us to play. But that won't go on forever and ever, so we have to look at other things as well. We're all, you know, we're not 20-year-old anymore.
You'll never have nothing to worry about. Have a lovely
Well,
trip.
Thank you very much.
And all
Tom.
the best for
Thanks a
everybody
lot.
here, okay? Glenn Shorrock, Little River Band. When we come back, John Wallace and Matilda to sing Clancy of the Overflow, a big hit now. Hang in there.